Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Yeah, man, let's jump right into it. A lot of people are taking things the wrong way, and here we are, the PCC deviants are out here taking a L.
Well, KR, let me stop you right there. He said BD. He never said
Okay,
BCC.
okay. BD, then BD.
BBC. The black was never part of it.
He wasn't talking about. He wasn't. Well, I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, this is getting crazy. Yeah, you're right on that. You're calling me out. Yeah, you're right on that. It wasn't. He didn't say the black in there. But yeah, here we are, and today is Diddy Thursday. Maybe we need to find a name for this Thursday. If you're not black, baby oil Thursday or freak off Thursday. I don't know. RJ, what do you think? What should be the Thursday shows about Diddy? What kind of name should we give it?
I have no objections against Baby Oil Thursday.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. Baby oil Thursdays. Yo.
Yeah, I have no objections against that, but I mean, if we have another name, I think that would be better though. Hey, KR, at this point, the feds might have placed already a search on the word baby oil being used. Man. So maybe we should use something else.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Today we're gonna discuss the latest crazy lawsuits that were filed against Diddy. These are not criminal ones, but there's a couple of crazy ones. I mean, talking about minors, talking about athletes or personal trainers that being fondled upon. The freak off continues. At least these lawsuits, the freak off lawsuits will continue, and we're gonna discuss this a bit deeper today. RJ.
Yes, we will discuss it a bit deeper. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate the support you've been showing us. Thank you to all the Thank you for all the comments as well. As you guys know, we've been highlighting the best comments and the hottest takes each show. We have another comment to highlight in this show. But guys, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you haven't done so already, rate the show by pressing the like button. Follow us on our other socials, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you stay up to date when we drop new videos. We've had a couple of shows already on Diddy's Wild Moments. We had Diddy meme shows, and you guys seem to like it. So for the time being, we will be doing that. My only problem, KR wants to call the Thursday show the the slippery slope shows. The only problem is that the only problem is, guys, that we don't know. Diddy has been a gift that keeps on giving. At least not himself, because well, Diddy gives and Diddy take it away. But what we need to watch out with the name, because I mean, eventually, I think in about a year or two, there won't be any Diddy stories left, and so that's why. Yeah, we'll see. If you guys have an idea or suggestion on what we should call the Thursday shows, the Thursday day shows. That's another one. Well, if you have an idea, please drop it. Let us know, and we will consider it. KR, with that being said, we can, I believe, start with the first segment.
Yes. Let's jump right into it, man. The newest lawsuits are crazy. The news lawsuits are surrounding are about a couple of people that are alleging that Diddy was fondling upon them, a personal trainer and oh, a underage girl. Let's look at it. Let's jump right into it, man. Fair use.
That in 2022, at an after party on the night of the BET Awards, Diddy spiked his drink, sexually assaulted him, and then later he claims that his drugged body was passed around like a party favor for sexual enjoyment.
I love y'all. Peace.
In another filing, a woman claims Diddy raped her after she met him at a party attended by Mary J. Blige, Lil' Kim, and Nicki Minaj in Las Vegas. To be clear, the stars are not accused of any wrongdoing. The alleged victim claims she woke up groggy and sore and, quote, was horrified to realize that she was raped by Combs. Diddy has denied all the allegations.
We're seeing the same pattern of sexual violence. The victim.
Yeah, so this is what they are these are alleging. Basically grapes and people that took what they say spiked drinks, and before they knew it they were groggy and couldn't tell left from right or anything else, who was doing what. They blacked out, as they say. The crazy part of these stories is that a 13-year-old says that she went to these parties, these award shows, MTV award show in the 2000s, 2001, if I'm not mistaken. And was it 2001? Let me see real quick if I can find it. I can't find it real quick, but anyway, it was it was VMAs 2000, in the 2000s, and she went to a after party, and from that the whole story seems like a James Bond episode, James Bond movie, where she found out she felt ill, and then she ran away from the party and asked her dad to pick her up at the fuel station, gas station. So I don't know, RJ. I mean, we talked about these stories. The stories all seem to have a certain pattern, but these patterns we've already these allegations, the way these patterns have been set up, kind of sound like stories we've heard before, but then added with other details. Maybe I could be wrong, maybe I could be right. What do you think?
Well, also, the problem is that, graping usually happens in more or less the same way, right? So there are a couple of ways that it can happen.
Yeah.
For you to do it against someone's will, either you overpower that person by force, which can be physical force. You can, so in this case, physical force. You can overpower the person by leverage. So you have something over that person, and you'll say, if you don't do this, then this will happen to you. Or you do it by substance, where you put the person to sleep and then do whatever you want with that person.
Yeah.
So to that extent, it sounds the same. That can mean that it is a pattern, or it can also mean that it's something that people are making up right now to also jump in the Diddy story and to get some. But it's not uncommon for instances like this, where someone is being accused of something, that more people jump out of nowhere to also claim, whatever it is that they're claiming.
Yeah. The interesting part of this, it seems like, and I'm going back to the part with about the personal trainer. This is a part of that of that. Let me see where I can find it. Here it is. So this is a excerpt of that complaint. You see here, he took a picture of the people there. All the faces are, let's say, blocked. One can also say maybe these faces are blocked, so you can send them a letter and ask them to pay a certain amount. At a certain point, the money will be. They won't have enough money to cover all these lawsuits. So he's gonna file for bankruptcy at a certain point. The question is, can he hold these off until he fights off his criminal case? Think that's where he's gonna put his money in, and not in these kind of smaller cases. Then he's gonna file for bankruptcy, and then there won't be no money. So probably these people here could be people that they are also gonna add to these lawsuits. Anyway, he says the following: during the event, Combs instructed plaintiff to join him in Combs' private office. Plaintiff went into the office where the two were alone. Plaintiff assumed Combs wanted to have a discussion about business. However, plaintiff immediately realized Combs was intoxicated and acting strangely. Combs began awkwardly moving closer to plaintiff. As he did so, Combs removed his pants and exposed his genitals to plaintiff. Combs continued to move closer and then grabbed plaintiff's genitals through his pants, squeezing them in a rough and a particular manner. Plaintiff, shocked and disoriented, frozen momentarily, and did not know how to respond to the wildly inappropriate advance from Combs. The situation escalated until another individual, professional athlete A, entered the office and intervened, which ended in Combs' assault of a plaintiff. At this moment, plaintiff escaped from Combs and left the office. After escaping the office, the plaintiff left the party to return home. To help plaintiff document this encounter, plaintiff took a photograph of the vodka vodka Combs gave to him at the party. That Combs immediately ultimately assaulted plaintiff. It is shown below.
Wow.
Question is fingerprints, my man. Are there fingerprints on here? So those are the couple of things. I mean, I've read I cannot. I've read through the documents, and I mean, these, a lot of times they say reality is always crazier than fiction. If this really happened, it's a crazy story. So you cannot, I cannot say it never happened, but like you said before, these are stories that when people will come out of the woodworks and try to come with a story to get a payday. And we will cover in the future also a video of someone who tried a insurance fraud by hitting a car. There are people out here that do these things. That's something we always need to keep into consideration. The question is, of course, these allegations, can they be proven or can they not? You can write a crazy story. I mean, I've read also another crazy story from another plaintiff who her story is even crazier than this one. I don't know if you've read it, RJ. It's about the woman who allegedly was um, she called a friend of Diddy called Diddy to introduce to show her that he knows him,
A friend
and
of Diddy called Diddy
to show kind of to show him, hey, I'm friends
bragging.
with, bragging, yeah. And then she said she was not impressed because Diddy was had let's say, these accusations of the Tupac story. He didn't like it, and he said something to her. At a certain point later, and later at a certain moment in time, he invited her to his apartment. Um, that this is, and I'm paraphrasing the story, so this is what I can remember what I read. So he invited her to the apartment. He gave her a drink. She started feeling a bit woozy. Some way, somehow, Diddy came in to the apartment. Um, Diddy had intercourse with her and the guy as well. Some of the no, not the guy. The his entourage. After that, the the oh my god. Yes. So after that, she woke up from that the state she was in. Diddy was in the balcony sitting and talking to the other person. Some way, somehow, there was a shooting between Diddy and the bodyguard because she ran away during that shooting, um, altercation or something like that. That she ran away, took the steps. Um, she was saved by a she was saved by by the neighbor of the man, the owner of the house. They called the police, um, and some way, somehow, there was an altercation within the group. So the I think maybe the what she's alleging is that the bodyguard fought Diddy, and they were knuckling up. RJ, it's crazy. The whole
It sounds.
story, and
It sounds.
then the police came. So listen to this one. The police
Yeah.
came. She told the story about being raped, and then the police told her to go home. But she stayed at the neighbor's home, slept there, and in the morning she went
The
back to
neighbor
the
of
house.
the neighbor of Diddy.
No, the neighbor of the guy who he invited her to the house and where she was drugged and raped. So
Okay.
she stayed at the neighbor's house the night. So the police came. They called the police. Police came. I mean, if there is a shooting, RJ, let's be honest. Police will come. It's weird that they don't take statements. Anyway, the police told her to go home. She told him the story of being raped. Where do you hear police? You tell a story, you've been raped, they tell you to go home, sleep it off. Anyway, usually they tell you to get a kit,
Yeah, you
a
need to get the
grape
kid.
kit. Yeah. Anyway, she
But
stayed.
it can mean
She
two
didn't go
things.
home.
Yeah, continue.
The story is crazy. She didn't go home. She stayed at the neighbor's. She slept at the neighbor's couch, on the neighbor's couch. Went back the morning after to get her stuff from the apartment. Look at his face. Look at his face. She went back, got her stuff, and then went home. That whole story is crazy. This is the things you're reading. So this is why I am very skeptical about these stories right now. Because that whole story, I'm like, yo, this
Come
is
on,
like a
man.
James Bond story. The way, and I skipped a couple of parts. The parts where there was an altercation between Diddy and his people, that sounded like a Matrix movie. The way they wrote it.
Yeah.
Guns were going off, people were getting slapped, and all about Tupac.
Hey, man.
I don't
What
know.
can I say, KR?
I don't know. But this is the crazy part about these stories. And this is one thing I think we talked about this also in a previous show, right? You gotta be very careful how you read these articles. And it's better to read the complaint itself, because the articles will filter certain things out, and things that might make you scratch your head. And like we said in the previous show as well, every case should be treated separately. You cannot bunch them all, pile them all together and say the guy is. I mean, I do think that Diddy is a foul person. He might have done some foul things. I mean, the way he treated Cassie, the uppercuts he was giving her, man, that was crazy.
You know what the problem is, KR? It's the boy who cried wolf, right? The story sounds surreal,
No.
but they don't sound surreal for Diddy.
At this point, nothing sounds crazy.
Exactly. So I would argue that the wilder the story, the likelier people are to believe it,
At this point, you
if
might
it
be
makes
right on
sense.
that. You might be right. Well, there should be a level of I mean, an anchor to reality, though.
Hey, perception is everything, man.
I mean, you might be right. Some people see your skin color and think you're black, and others might know you're Indian.
Yeah,
Perception is everything.
perception is everything. So, hey, man, to each their own.
Crazy stories, though. That we'll keep following these stories. I'll see if I can find, maybe we can dive a bit deeper into that crazy Tupac story with this woman getting into that altercation. I can see if I can find a transcript of it or someone who's telling the story, because this is, when you hear it, RJ, when you read it, you're asking yourself, what the heck is this? I'll send it to you. Man,
Yeah, please send it to me
wow.
because I'm interested. And I asked you this like a couple of days ago. How come? I'm just baffled. How come you know a lot of things that are like very random stories? So of course this is so okay. Let me just give some context, guys. This is a Diddy story, and Diddy is trending. Yeah, yeah, of course. And we need to stay on top of things, but. KR will have a story like this about the most random thing. He'll just say, yeah, he'll just come. Did you hear about, did you, right now, did you hear about the mayor in Dakota, in South Dakota, that got eaten by an otter? And you're like, how do you know
You,
these stories, man?
so
Like
so
weird,
so
weird, weird things. In the
So I
past,
have
he
a
always
story.
used
I'll
to,
give you an example. I
yeah,
give continue talking. I'll pull up an example.
random ass stories, man.
I'll pull up an example for you guys, so you guys understand um, what he's talking about. Here's a story I found. Here's a story I found that we're not gonna cover, but I'm like, yo, how the heck do I found these type of stories? Let me share my screen real quick.
Random
Here's an
stories, guys.
example. Random story. You know how random? This is how random it is.
Baby-faced ex-mayor, baby-faced ex-mayor of Ritzy Hamptonstown, accused of trying to. Yes, yes.
This is a story I was contemplating whether we should cover it or not.
Oh, that would have
But I
been,
was
yeah,
like, yo, this
yeah,
guy
yeah.
is so this is so a random story. We cannot, it's not gonna get any clicks.
No,
But
I mean it's
just
wild
so
enough for a short thought, maybe, but
he's 39, by the way. You wanna see his face?
yeah,
Is
it
he
was the
really a
baby
baby
face,
face?
yeah, the baby
Is he
faced
really a baby
assassin.
face?
Yeah, yeah, I see it, yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, but this is crazy. So these are by the way, this is the girl that he said the secretaries they are saying that he tried to pimp out. So yeah, this is
I understand now why it remained at attempt.
this is what
Guys, KR brings out the worst in me, man.
oh man,
My
this is
darkest
crazy.
joke, my darkest jokes
This is
are
crazy.
because are due to KR. KR has like he baits, man. He baits.
This is the guy with his wife. Man, the
Classic.
thing is these are the crazy stories you will find when you are out here in the internet streets. and you find all these crazy things. We cannot cover everything, but yeah, this is what he's pointing out, that sometimes I just tell him about these stories.
Yeah,
Like, did
random
you hear
story.
about the ex mayor who was trying to start a his own freak off party with the secretary for favors?
No,
This
no.
is crazy. This is crazy. But yeah, anyway, guys, let us know what you think about this whole Diddy stuff. Do you believe that those stories, that these new allegations, these new lawsuits, um, the 13-year-old story of the 13-year-old girl, that's a very interesting story. Um, not saying that it's not true or not, but I mean, we have to break it down like a kilo of brick. We might have to break it down like a kilo brick, but it's too
Break it
early
down.
to break them
Break
down.
it down like a mule.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Best comments will be chosen to be featured in one of our future videos. RJ.
Yes, guys. Hey, thank you, KR, and thank you guys for tuning in. As KR said, the best comment will be highlighted in a future show. But before we can move to the next segment, I have to do some housekeeping. Remind you guys to don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell icon, of course, for more updates on different stories where we discuss trending topics and try to explore uncommon lessons from commonplace situations. Um, Also, guys, don't forget to like the video by hitting the like button. You support us; it's entirely free, but it means a lot to us. The subscribe button is also free, so all the free support you can give us are good. We're building great things. More things are coming. We're currently working on a website as well. So more on that later. This is just the beginning, but we appreciate our day ones. When we reach 1,000 subs, we will also highlight and give thanks to the day ones, all the people who commented um, throughout the years. But before that, I mean, you don't need to wait until we get 1,000. Drop a hot comment today, and you might have a chance of being mentioned in a future show if you we decide if we pick your comment as the hot take. So you can make that comment either on the main show, which is Double Thought Show, or the main channel, which is Double Thought Show, or the Clips channel, which is Double Thought Clips. We really appreciate your support. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. And KR, with that being said, what's next? Tell us what's next.
Yes, yes. We go next to the comment of the week. The comment of the week we will give to Zoro SP. Let me share my screen. On the show where we discussed Diddy's arrest causing shockwaves of resignation, and also where we talked about the billionaire funded research findings, which I'm not gonna name. Go check it out. Zoro SP was shocked. Within 5 minutes of this episode, he dropped this. It dropped. It dropped. I mean, we dropped these episodes on Monday and on Thursdays at 7 p.m. And 5 minutes after that episode started, Zoro dropped that shocked face. So I was like, yeah, we were shocked as well. I mean, we there are two shows back to back where we had these shocking. I think you remember the Michael Jackson one, RJ. That's one of the shows where you were sitting there and were like, "What the
That was,
heck is
guys,
happening?"
if you haven't watched that one, that show was crazy because, of course, KR prepares it. And yo, I was about to take my tinfoil hat, man. I was about to take it. I had it in the closet for about 5 to 6 years, even longer, even longer actually. But yo, that was crazy. That was a crazy one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So guys, let us know in the comments Let us know in the comments what you think. You will be featured in one of our future videos. Anyway, let's continue to the Reddit story. Archie always has a Reddit story for us where we discuss maybe a commonplace situation and try to solve or help at least or give advice to someone who's in dire needs of one. Might not have the right the right person on their side to guide them in the moments of pain. RJ.
Yes. I have a Reddit story to discuss, and just I have to give a disclaimer because KaiR was talking about advice. Guys, maybe you can see here and here, but I'm a lawyer. It's what I do in my day job. Been practicing for almost 10 years now. I have my own practice. And as of course, as lawyers, we are very cautious as to what we say. We are very thoughtful about what we say. And we do not give advice here on the Double Touch Show, contrary to what KR just said. We don't give any advice, even if it's non-legal advice. We don't give any advice. Who are we? We're nobodies. We give no advice, but we just comment because there are some crazy things out there, and we just
Okay,
like to
you
talk
might be
about
right.
it and give our
You might
reaction.
be right.
And
This is
and
why you
today's
have to have a lawyer by your side doing this show so to save you from lawsuits. Thank you,
all right.
RJ.
KR, have you ever heard people? Have you ever heard about people having to negotiate marriage?
All the time. What kind of negotiation are we talking about? Before or during?
Let's find out.
Okay.
Marriage. What's in it for me?
Who's saying this?
The dude is saying this.
Okay.
The dude
I can
is
tell
saying.
him without knowing the story, but you tell the
What can
story.
you tell him?
No, tell the story first, because otherwise we were gonna spend too much time on me ranting about certain things.
All right.
It
So
depends on the woman you're marrying. Let's start there. But let's see what he has to say.
okay. So the title of this this Reddit is as follows. Am I wrong for asking my girlfriend? They're both 32, by the way, to break down how marriage would benefit me. Me and my girlfriend have been together for 4 years, four
Mhm.
times. Cat Williams turned down $50 million 4 times. This dude and his girlfriend were together 4 years. At the beginning of our relationship, I told her that marriage wasn't in the cards for me as I don't see how it would benefit me in any way. She seemed to understand and accept this.
Oh, she's reneging. Or she's
For, s-
reneging. Which one is it?
for some reason, or no, for some background, I'm a software engineer, STEM,
For some reason. I know the reason. Continue.
at a pretty big hedge fund, so I'm living fairly comfortable. My
Of
girlfriend
course.
works as a potter. She doesn't bring in much income, but she loves it, and it makes me happy to see her working a job she loves.
Hmm.
However, it's no secret that if we married and then divorced, I would be royally if you seek a me, as Brittany said. It's Brittany H base. Last week, our anniversary. Last week was our anniversary, and she seemed a little disappointed the next morning. When I asked her why, she explained that we'd been together for a while and she was hoping I would propose. When I asked her why she thought I would do that when I made my feelings about marriage known, she said that that marriage still isn't a quote requirement, yeah, for her, but it is part of her, and she hoped that I would love her enough to change my mind. See what she did there?
Take a lighter and gas, put them together, and you get what you get. A gaslight.
Yeah, that was clear, I think. I didn't I didn't want to let this fester and affect our relationship. So I sat us both down at the kitchen table and asked her, then and there, how marriage would benefit me. She went on about things like show of commitment. But I countered saying that the act of being together for 4 years is itself a show of commitment. She also mentioned security. And I asked her, security for who? Because the way I see it, I feel more secure being unmarried since it would allow for a clean break. Well, there you go. No division of assets, no alimony, no courts, etc. Her idea of security was security for her, seeing things like it would make it harder for us to love each other.
What?
No, it makes it harder for me to leave her, but if anything, it gives her incentive to leave me since at any time she could walk away with half of everything I earned during the marriage. Another point she brought up was kids. She said she wants security in the event we have kids. To be clear, we also decided at the beginning of our relationship, neither of us need to have kids. If it happens, but we're not actively trying. I explained why that mattered, since I would be an active father regardless of whether we split in the future. And she planned on going back to work immediately after maternity leave. So it wouldn't even really heavily impact her career. And before anyone brings it up, we have cleaners to handle most home tasks. The only core, no, the only chore, and he puts it in quotation marks. Why? Let's see. We're really responsible for is cooking, which we split. If we had a baby, I would hire a full-time nanny when she returned to work. She did make a few good points about medical power of attorney and tax cuts. But I can give her medical power of attorney through other legal means, and getting married wouldn't really affect how I'm taxed anyway, not even to justify the risk of marriage. At the end of the conversation, when I had made it clear there weren't really any good reason for me to get married, she seemed like she understood, but I can tell that it's still bothering her. Also, to add, we don't live somewhere that recognizes common law.
Oh, ooh, that's something that I wanted to remark first of all, because you have to keep in mind that they're 4 years together. I don't know if they're living together for 4 years or whether they're not living together. That's going to be a very important part, because otherwise,
Yeah.
that's something you always have to take into account when you're living together. I think in some states, is if you're living more than 10 years together, she's gonna count as a wife. So you're screwed anyway.
Yeah.
It's
And
better
he
to
has
break up.
another edit at the end because they probably reacted to seeing things about prenups in the comments. So he reacted to that as well in a later edit. He said, "I've seen this come up a lot, so just thought I'd add it here. Prenups are not the impenetrable shield a lot of you think it is. The fact is, a prenup that gives me the same protections as simply not being married in the first place would never stand up in court. What judges deem are unfair prenups are thrown out all the time.
This man is Coach Gang. I'm pretty sure
The
he's Coach Gang.
best prenup is to simply not get married."
He's definitely Coach Gang. I can hear it in the way he talks. He's Coach Gang. It can't be there. I cannot say anything else than he's Coach Gang.
So that means that he's black.
No, he watches CGA.
I know. But anyway,
Doesn't there are white guys that also watch Coach Gang.
you know who you sound like now, KR? Now you sound
Who?
like you know when white guys say, "Yeah, I love black people. I have a black neighbor." No one, you don't need to get defensive about it. It's a joke.
I'm not defensive about it.
Okay, then
Okay.
let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah. Don't move. No. Anyway, hey, I think he made. I mean, he made his points are clear, man. Um, the thing is this, right? He has made her life easier. She doesn't have to clean. I do think the thing is this, right? The more you, let's call it, buy services, you have the means to buy services like a cleaner, a nanny, um, a cook. The higher the stakes will be for the woman to, what is the added value for the marriage? A lot of people, a lot of times, and this is an interesting angle to those things, right? The A lot of people marry because of they want to go a partnership so they can pay the rent together 50-50. But when they break up, none of them can pay any rent, so that's why they stay together. They become dependent on each other. um a lot of people masquerade dependency as a partnership or a marriage, so you have to be very careful. There is a thin line between the two, whether you can stand on both feet, both of you can stand on your feet or not. It becomes a bit harder for anyone, and it's the other way around as well, right? Just don't get me wrong, it happens also. This is a question a woman can ask a man as well. If she has her financial part together, what do you bring to the table? It becomes harder because then you have to have enough understanding of needs of the other gender. There are only two, in order to help them in whatever they want to, where they want to go in life. Your partner or your girlfriend or whoever, or your boyfriend. So it always becomes hard. The more stable someone is, whether it's a woman or a man, the harder it becomes for the other person to justify their added value. Well, that's also another thing relating to that, is that's the moment you can raise to the occasion. You can sell your difference, your added value versus other people. So this is a thing where people never ask themselves, how can I I think it was John Kennedy said once, don't ask what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This is the core of people that are narcissists versus people that are non-narcissists. How can I add to someone's value versus extracting value? Don't ask what you can do, what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It's the same. Don't ask what your partner can do for you. Ask what you can do for your partner. But it's both sides. A man can ask the questions if the man is financially sane, or doesn't have any financial problems. It will be harder. Same for a boss lady. Ajay.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it, KR, I think a lot of I think women are conditioned to look for confirmation of love in the wrong places. Men as well, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what the video clips are telling us, what the music is telling us, what the movies are telling us, that ain't real.
It isn't.
But we think that that's the ultimate sacrifice someone can make. If you ask them, some people will tell you they want to get married because they do.
Oh, it is the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
Financial sacrifice for the man.
Yeah. Yeah. But you say you want to get married.
Yeah.
Do they ask them why? They'll come up with the general things, like the same things that everyone talks about, commitment and all those things. I believe 75% of divorces are initiated by the women.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
90% if the women are 80 to 90% if the women are highly educated.
Yeah.
And there's always a reason for that as well. And if I look at my grandparents who did stay together, their relationship wasn't based on how many date nights you had.
Yeah.
You got married because that's what you did. Point blank, period. The only reason why you got married was because you were expected to have someone and to build a life with that person. But nowadays, they don't want to build lives. They want a built life where they can come in and
Plug and play.
have what?
Plug and play.
Plug and play. Turnkey.
Turkey husband. Yo, hey, I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah. Because yeah. So the man is treating you like 4 years, being there for you. He's there for you. 4 years treating you well. You say that as well, but you still miss, like, okay, you still need to be married. I believe, KaiR, oftentimes it's not about the marriage, it's about the wedding.
It's about the wedding most of the time. Yes, I do agree on that.
Because that's what it's about.
That's
That
every girl's
fairy tale
dream.
needs that fairy tale. Because if it's about the marriage, then you just go and get married, right? You just go to the civil servant,
Wow.
get married,
Wow.
or go to Vegas.
Well, that's like playing Russian roulette. But okay.
Yeah, no. I'm saying if it's about the marriage, then why would you? Because you made a comment about it being expensive. A marriage isn't expensive. The wedding is expensive.
Well, the marriage. Well, the
Well,
marriage is
long
expensive.
term. But the whole point is the reason why these two have been together for 4 years.
Yeah.
They can book a. What I'm saying is this. I understand where you want to take it, but that's not.
I'm not
we
gonna
don't need
take it anyway. I'm gonna leave you
just
cook. I'm gonna let you
listen to
cook.
what I'm saying.
I'm
They can
listening.
go in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, probably get a date to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was the reason why, then there would have been a problem. Why is the wedding date always 8 months later, 1 year later? Because you need to save for the wedding.
Yep.
Have you ever? Are you willing to stick until the end with that person? They'll say yes, but they always have a moment. They can always say no at the end. Oh, I changed my mind. And if you look at it, it's always you pick, right? You pick what you want to believe. You
That's how
believe that
humans
it's God, but at the same time, if it's really bad, I'll leave. Hey, but which one is it?
till
Either
death
you
do us
pick it.
part, or
What?
I'm unhappy.
What?
I said till death do us part, or I'm unhappy.
Yeah. And so my point is this: in this particular case, because we're talking about this specific case, KaiR, this The woman isn't saying that she's being treated wrongly or unfairly. She's also saying the man was straight up with her at the beginning, from the get go.
Yeah.
But the conditioning that's being taken place, it's that's not enough. You always need more. But the happiness can only be found from within, not without.
From within. That's one of the important things you gotta ask a woman on the first date. Are you happy? Let her explain you why she's happy. That's a key. Because if she's not happy, she's never gonna be happy. She'll find anything else, and you can also say the same about men, but I'm talking about the perspective of a man. So I can only talk about when you're asking a woman.
Yeah.
But those are the things you gotta ask the person. Like, are you happy? Because it's very important. Otherwise, people will search happiness in the wrong places, like you said.
At the same time, KR, relating to the man, it also depends what type of person you are, right? Because you can get a prenup. There are ways to get a prenup. But what some people do is, so what some people do when they're getting married or when they're doing deals as well, they want everything for the cheap.
Yeah,
And it doesn't work like that. If you
it
have a
doesn't work.
partner, you've built with that person, even if the person you didn't build with that person. Let's say you didn't build. It's a turnkey. You just get there, get in, and have 50% say so. In corporate, we call that hostile takeover. If let's say I believe that as a man, if you get married like that and you divorce for whatever reason, and it's not something that there was like something wrong, something it was just two people who couldn't make it work anymore. I think there's a certain responsibility you have there as well, because I don't believe in just dropping someone, especially if the person is the mother of
How
your
do we
children.
call it? What we call it over here? How do we call that?
You need a care package.
It's amazing how at a certain point you didn't believe in the care package.
Yeah, but you do need it. You do need it. And
You
I
see,
also believe that
you
if you
learn, you
have,
grow and learn. That's at the Double Touch Show. People grow and learn. I
yeah,
told RJ about the care package, the concept of a care package. In the beginning, he was very, I won't say against it, but he had his doubts.
no, I didn't have my doubts. I just didn't think it was like that big of a deal. But then we did a couple of stories, and it all comes down to the same thing.
It's a care
You want to
package.
fire someone, you want to fire someone, but you only want to give the person is willing to accept 1 million. The person is entitled to three. You say no, I'm gonna give you 1 million. Person goes to court and gets 30 million out of you. It's always the who also had Florida also had that story, right? With Celsius. Something like
Yeah,
not like employment, but it's always things like that. So
it's about the
I
care
think
package.
that I also think that, so on the other hand, I also think that if
People
whether you're
want to have
married,
a lot of guys. Sorry, I'm interrupting. A
yeah,
lot
go
of
ahead.
guys. This is the problem with a lot of guys, and this is a lot of guys want to have intercourse for free.
Yeah,
That's the biggest problem. And they think that once they're done, they can throw people away and then think, hey, next one.
yeah,
And that always comes back to haunt you. You can see that with all these allegations with, for example, young Philly. You can name them. There is a list of guys. I think even Tyson got caught up because he didn't take care of the forgot her name that accused him of rape. I mean, it's the same situation. You should have always a care package ready. Give her something to remember the great moment she had with you. So you cannot, even if she's just a girlfriend, when you break up after 8 years, you should give her a care package. Shouldn't throw her
yeah,
legs to the side like she's nothing, because
yeah. But I
she's
think that
wasting
doesn't.
she's wasting she's wasting her ex on you. Don't
But I
forget that.
think that that shouldn't be dependent on whether you're married or not. That just needs to be
No, 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 no,
something
no,
that's,
no.
you understand what I'm
It's
saying?
part of,
It
yeah,
just needs
it's
to be the
part of
part of who
everything.
you are. But that's the thing. So when you're talking, when you're vetting each other in the dating phase, you need to discuss these things. Now, people change opinions all the times, and in the dating phase, you're not talking to the people, to the person you're talking to, that person's representative. And so the person will say
Oh,
whatever needs to be said in
I,
order to get in the office.
I guess I've been dating wrong then. I've been showing up as myself. I've been doing it all wrong, guys. I guess I need to send my marketeer to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this stuff. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding, but
yeah. So
I'm actually not.
hey, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. I think if you have a, this is my opinion, there are a lot of turbulent relationships out there. If you have a great relationship, make it work. I don't think marriage is the I don't think marriage is the what do they call them, end all be all.
Yeah.
Because I think actually when you get married, that's when the work starts.
Yeah,
Because and you
marriage
know
is
why it
hard,
starts.
man.
You know why it starts as well, KR? Because you can there after the marriage. See, if you get married, you can see s- someone who wants to get married, right? Referring to someone who says, "I want to get married." There, you see whether the marriage was the end goal or not. Because some people get married and then they stop working on themselves.
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, because
That's a
if
good
you are
one.
aware
Never
that
thought
no,
it
that's
from
the
that
start.
angle.
Yeah, yeah. But some people think, okay, now that I'm married, that's the end all be all. They never even thought about. They're
It's a
like little dirt,
marathon.
and
Once they
they're
pass
like
that
little dirt.
line, ooh, how?
They're like Lil Durk. They do something here and don't plan the escape. You know? So they just
I thought you were gonna use the marathon analogy where they
no,
pass
no, 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 no.
the
But it's just like
the
they have
pass the
one
line and
part but
it's
not the
over.
other. Yeah. And that's where you see actually, hey, you said you want this, but do you really? And guys are often we like giving, not all of them, but I think guys like to give their women what they like to see their women happy. Let me put it like that.
Yes, yes.
You
That's
don't you
all
like to
men.
see your
That's
woman
all
happy.
men.
Yeah. And so I think
Whether he's a
a lot of
liberal
people
or a
give in.
masculine guy.
I think a lot of people give in and some people do. And when I say give in, I mean give in the sense that I don't need to, but I'll do it for you, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of people give in and but it becomes something beautiful. But I also know like horror stories where someone gives in. This person specifically didn't even want to have kids, got two kids, and then after the second one, all hell broke loose. So it wasn't only the marriage, because if it's the marriage, they could have dealt with it. The woman had a good salary, etc. But his main point was he didn't want to have kids, and then he had the kids, and then it was over.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's always a risk. And on the other hand, this is the last thing I'll say about this. In life, you need to take risks.
Risk in life, yeah.
It's just you need to
But
be
don't go
you need to
blind. Don't go blind
yeah.
into the
If you want to, if you don't you don't believe in care packages, if you don't believe in, really loving a person,
you're
which
gambling with
means,
your
hey,
life.
yeah, I mean, I love you. I don't. We're not working. It's not working, but I love you. I don't want you. I don't want to see you bad. So hey, if you need anything, and we can, and as long as it's not being taken advantage of, I don't see why not. Especially if you've been together a long time, you have kids, for example. You've been together 20 years, then you divorce, you have kids. Does that mean that that person is the worst person in the world? No, I don't think so. But everything according to each and everyone's boundaries, of course, and but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, but if you think, oh no, what does the law say? Okay, then I want to pay you $23.15. Well, that's
Not 1 cent more.
Not 1 cent
Hey,
more.
hey, if you want to send more, you gotta go on the track and sell
Yeah.
sell your
Yeah.
behind.
Hey, and if that's
That's
if
how
that's
that's
the
how
way
people
you
think. That's how people think, RJ.
if that's what you want, then no judgment. But then you have to be aware that a long-term relationship in a long-term relationship, you need to, even if it's not marriage, you there's something's gotta give. And if you're afraid to give because you're afraid to lose, I'll tell you one thing, you won't gain, you will stay limited in that area. If just like people doing business, they want to do business, but they don't want to invest. You don't want to go to a course. You don't want to go to invest in a seminar. You don't want to invest in people. You want to pay people the minimum. You want to,
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
yeah. How you do one thing is how you do everything. You know what we call those people? The 66%. The
What does it
66
stand
that go bankrupt in the first 3 years.
for? Jeez, jeez. Hey, RIP to those who didn't make it the first 3 years. You have a second chance. Try it again. Second marriage is always the best one because then you learned what you did wrong the first time, or at least you hope so. Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. The best will, the best comment will be selected and maybe featured in one of our future videos. Let us know what you think, RJ.
Yes, guys, let us know what you think about this topic. I'll just mention the first topic and then we proceed with the next segment. At least not the first topic, apologies, the first comment, the top comment. My Flayman says, I can see a separation in your near future. Your girlfriend is starting to feel the need for long term planning and security. You made clear you're not going to give her any of that. People grow and change over time. It looks like you two grew apart. I don't agree with that at all. You didn't say that at all. It doesn't seem like.
It's amazing
No, I don't
sometimes how
agree with
people
it.
analyze stuff and then they
Yeah, yeah.
totally off. Yeah, that's just crazy.
That's what we call projection here. He didn't say that at all. He didn't say
Yo, this is
my
crazy.
flamen. He didn't say my flamen that he's not willing to, that he doesn't want to give her long-term planning and security. What he's saying is, we're already working on that. We're already doing it. So why change anything? But hey, it
Yeah.
is what it is. That's the best comment. Then if that's the best comment, it's a good idea. I decided to read only that one. Guys, let us know your thought and opinion in the comment section below. Remember, the top comment or the most notable comment has a chance of being mentioned in a future show. So if you think you have a hot comment, let us know. Drop it down below. And with that being said, KR, I think, well, also, guys, remember to subscribe, hit the notification icon so you stay up to date when we drop new videos and like the video. KR, what's next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Second topic of the day is Mike Jeffries. Oh, I almost said Jim Jeffries. That's a comedian. Mike Jeffries, former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. Well, this is the banner I chose today. Freak of Universe expansion with former CEO Mike Jeffries. Yes, what are we talking about? Let's just jump right into it, man. Fair use.
Fitch, Mike Jeffries is arrested in connection to a sex trafficking case. Prosecutors have been investigating allegations that Jeffries ran a sex trafficking operation involving young men. Jeffries was arrested this morning in Florida as part of an investigation led by federal prosecutors in New York. This story is developing. For more details, you can visit our website, fox32chicago.com. We have some.
Yeah, man. It's real simple. He's been accused of basically running a freak off operation for, I'm not gonna say little boys, young men, because these are, according to they're not alleging these are underage men. These are all how we how we set up this trafficking situation is crazy. According to the lawsuit, it says that he was they were using men that were basically trying to get on the model list of Abercrombie and Fitch, and those guys were then moved to, let's say, these freak off events. So say if you suck them off, you might get extra jobs, and then they will also tell you, okay, go to Morocco, and then there is a event there. Come to find out, it's a freak off. And they used to do that to men, both hetero men and gay men. So it's all over the place. Want to say something?
No, I don't want to say. Well, the first thought that comes to mind, KR, is that they say power corrupts, and I think power corrupts. Power definitely has a chance to corrupt, but power also makes you more of what you are. What you are. Um, from what I understand, so let's say nothing insinuates that we're talking about minors. So I think that's a let's. It could
For
have been
now.
worse.
For now,
What?
they're not saying
Yeah, for now,
minors.
for now. We don't know,
Diddy
but
didn't
let's
start with
assume.
minors either.
So yeah. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt on that part. But there are a lot of BD deviant. Well, BD deviants, yeah.
Yeah, BD Deviants. This is not a BCC
Well, it's a D. I don't
or
know. It's a
BBC.
well. It's
I don't
not.
know.
It's not the second
He's
D,
not black.
and we don't know if he's the first one either.
Well, what I do know is he's not black. That's for sure. I don't know what else he's doing, but besides that. But yeah, it's getting
Yo,
crazy. Like I think, I hope, to be honest, and then I'm gonna go a bit deeper, because always in these cases, it's actually, I make a freak of universe joke, but you will be shocked, RJ, the link between certain groups in this case. What I wanted to say, I forgot what I wanted to say though. Anyway, so this is these are parties that were organized by the former CEO, and he was using young men, gullible men that were basically um, forced sometimes to perform in these parties. They were organizing all over the world. So this is the crazy part, and that's the trafficking aspect, because they were organizing these parties all throughout the world. Marrakesh in I mean, it's all over the world. And Marrakesh is Africa, Morocco. I think New York, LA. They were flying these people out. So it's crazy, actually.
so just to be clear, um, he's from what country?
It's an American.
He's American. Okay. So he
Yeah.
had like a couple of, let's say, how do you sell? What? You say a flock of birds, I think, right? What do you call a group of deviants?
My God.
But
A
in any
wolf
case,
pack. Isn't that how Mel called?
I wouldn't know. But okay, so what you're telling me is that he had like a group of men, I'm guessing. You said with various
It's a misuse of position, basically.
yeah, but I'm just trying to just summarize the case. He has like a group, and then they fly all over the world and do parties.
Yes, they would sometimes inform him that it's gonna be a photo shoot in Marrakesh or someplace else, and you find yourself in the middle of a freak off. That's quite crazy. Imagine you tell your girlfriend, "Hey man, I have a show. I have to take a couple of pictures for Abercrombie and Fitch. You tell your girlfriend, I'm gonna see you a couple of days. I'm gonna fly out to Marrakesh. You arrive there, and then you're not allowed to leave. In the middle, you see a freak off going on. You'll think, oh man, I'm not gonna partake. Yo, they would press these guys to partake.
Yeah.
And that's the aspect of this, yeah. People were getting pressed. They would pay him afterwards. This is the crazy part. You would be pressed, and then they would pay him.
But I guess I don't understand. So how would they fly them in and they don't know it? So how does that happen? That part?
They would tell him, because these are models, right? They would tell him there is a picture. You gotta, let's say, you fly to LA to take pictures for this campaign.
Gotcha.
It's a gotcha. It's a literally gotcha moment.
Yeah, it's
You
a literally
arrive
gotcha,
there.
yeah.
You get to the hotel, you get your room, and then find yourself in a situation where you cannot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anyway. Let's dive a bit deeper, because this freak off shit is getting crazier. Fair use. Hey, shout out to our homie. Not direct homie, but we have used his videos before. Iron Carol. He has a couple of. He always has quite good angles, interesting angles on this story. We talked about the Michael Jackson story last time around. RJ was shocked about all these links. Ian is always good at building these links. And stay tuned. You will be shocked probably again, RJ. Fair use.
Just got busted. And this time it is Abercrombie and Fitch. And it only takes like 3 minutes on Wikipedia to realize that this is connected directly to Jeffrey Epstein. Hence the Epstein Network shirt. So the former Abercrombie CEO, Mike Jeffries, was just charged with sex trafficking and interstate prostitution. And the article is basically just all summarized what is described in this 10-page indictment that was just filed. It names 3 co-conspirators: Jeffries, the ex-CEO of Abercrombie, his gay lover, who I think is his husband or partner for a long time, and then one other man that was like their senior manager of this trafficking operation. And real quick, a funny tidbit. That third guy, whose name is James T. Jacobson, I assume it's Todd, he's also known as Jim Jake or Mrs. Cook or Todd. I wonder why they're calling him Mrs. Cook, giving shades of Diddy right now. But anyways, basically, it's an international sex trafficking and prostitution business where they were using the modeling arm of Abercrombie and Fitch to trick young men into basically saying, we'll give you a job if you do a little diddling. And then they would fly the good ones out to sex events all around the world. And they would say that could yield modeling opportunities with Abercrombie or otherwise benefit their careers. But they also threatened that if you didn't comply and go to these sex events, then you wouldn't get modeling opportunities and it would harm your career and you would be blacklisted from the industry, more or less. So it alleges that they would have a private tryout with Jeffries or these other higher up older men. And if they were good enough, then they would get the modeling job and they would be given an itinerary for what was actually a sex event, but the itinerary appeared as though it was just a regular photo shoot trip that they would fly somewhere and do a photo shoot. And so they were being tricked into like, oh, you did that one thing and now you're all clear. You got the job. Fly over to that other country. You're going to take lots of photos. It's going to be great. Surprise, you are now at a freak off. They required the men to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they alleged they intentionally recruited heterosexual men, certain of whom were unwilling to engage in particular acts, and then they coerced, forced, trapped them in until they complied with certain things, as in they literally had staff that ensured that men attending did not leave the events until Jeffries and Smith decided they were over. And there's all kinds of other things, like how they injected their dicks to make them be able to participate if they were not otherwise capable There's lots of other details about how this went down. Don't need to go into all of it. It's worth noting that it appears my read of what's in this indictment makes it seem as though this is based upon the testimony of, I think, 12 witnesses who were men that were victims of this scheme that have come forward. And so what is in this indictment is limited to what they saw and experienced. This indictment does not necessarily allege that they were like selling the services to other people or like actually like trafficking in a broader sense, but I suspect they were. It's kind of ambiguous in the language used in here. It kind of frames this as though this was all for Jeffries' pleasure, but it kind of also implies that this was not all just for him. But anyways, the Jeffrey Epstein connection. I put all these notes directly in.
So far, RJ, understand the case?
Yeah, I understand the case. Understand the case. It is what you said. Models being flown out. They weren't allowed to leave, and they're basically how can they inject something that's supposed to be hidden?
How do you mean?
You said they injected their private parts if they weren't able to perform.
Yes.
How can they inject if it's supposed to be hidden? At that point, it's not hidden anymore, I guess. But
no, because they told them to strip out.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, if I don't take off my clothes,
yes, you will be put under pressure. I mean, this is the thing where I know where you're heading. I do agree with you on that. But these guys are like, yeah, I can't do anything. Well, guess what? We have the solution for you. Chich.
Gotcha.
Now you can do anything we want. I think it's the thing where people are scared to lose their job. I think that's the power dynamics in this situation. Let's continue.
Into my Jeffrey Epstein note file because the connection is right there. Because in 1988, Abercrombie and Fitch was bought by The Limited, now known as L Brands, company that owns Victoria's Secret. And then they put Jeffries in charge basically right after. He was their guy. And if you're not familiar with The Limited, that is Leslie Wexner's brand directly. We'll get to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff here in just a second. But I wanted to also mention for all of you millennials out there that Hollister was started as a subsidiary of Abercrombie and Fitch. They're the same company. Hollister, it's funny to note, Hollister claims in their marketing and branding, founded in 1922, Hollister, California. And that's a fucking lie. They were founded in the year 2000 in Ohio by Abercrombie and Fitch. So if you're a millennial and you remember going to the mall to hang out with your friends and Hollister and Abercrombie were right across from each other and you like literally got cancer just from smelling the perfume as you walked by, that was the same company on both sides there. And both were literally running a giant sexual trafficking ring. On behalf of Leslie Wexner, who put the dude in, like the dude who's just been charged was his guy, who he put in as CEO. Leslie Wexner was Jeffrey Epstein's boy. They were tied at the hip. They only mentioned Jeffrey Epstein 5 times on Leslie Wexner's Wikipedia page, and they try to kind of sterilize it to make it sound like it's like, oh, it was just like a little bit of money management, but no, it was not. I mean, he just retained him as a financial manager from that year to that year. It wasn't that big a deal. I mean, he only granted Jeffrey Epstein power of attorney over all of his assets, which, like, let's pause for a second and unpack what that means.
Look at his face.
Wow.
You didn't know that?
No.
It gets deep, man. It's a very interesting story.
Wow.
That whole Epstein story is kind of crazy. If you break it down, the amount of money he had access to. Let's continue. Any questions? Anything you want to say other than wow?
I'm just listening right now. So
Flabbergasted. Let's continue.
That means that Les Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret and all of L Brands, including Abercrombie and Fitch, gave Jeffrey Epstein complete power over every single asset in his life. All of his billions of dollars, Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to send as much money as he wanted, anywhere that he wanted, at any time, without Leslie's oversight. He could open companies in Leslie's name. He could sell companies in Leslie's name. He had complete control over everything Leslie owned if he wanted to exercise it. Okay? And to be clear, this was a Mossad operation. This was an Israeli operation, just to be clear. Anyone who's still trying to argue that has clearly not done their research, and we can talk about that another time. I mean, for starters, right here in my screenshot, we've also got Ehud Barak, one of his other good buddies, who was his Israeli handler back in the days when he was trafficking weapons on behalf of Israel. That's when he went from banking into trafficking weapons, into trafficking young women and boys. So, like, Ehud Barak, the ex-prime minister of Israel, at the time he was the head of Israeli intelligence. So anyways, a little bit more about Leslie Wexner, who owns Victoria's Secret, L Brands, and Abercrombie and Fitch, who put this guy in, and his demon, self-proclaimed demon possession. Because although they skim right over all the Jeffrey Epstein stuff on his Wikipedia page, but they at least mention this New York Magazine profile in 1985, where he talked about being possessed by a D-book, or however you say it in Yiddish, I don't know. The Wikipedia page is okay, but Whitney Webb did a way better job on this one. It's one of my favorite chapters from One Nation Under Blackmail, Volume 2. The dark side of Wexner's philanthropy, Wexner and his D-book. And Wexner self-identified. He was telling the story of how he was possessed by this D-book spirit that drove him to success. But a D-book in Yiddish folklore, as defined by Encyclopedia Britannica, a D-book is a Jewish folklore term for a disembodied human spirit that, because of former sins, wanders restlessly until it finds a haven in the body of a living person. Unlike spirits that have yet to move on but possess positive qualities, such as the Magid or Ibur, the D-book is almost always considered to be malicious, which leads it to be translated in English as demon. All kinds of other interesting bits here. So anyways, one of the most powerful Jewish philanthropists in the world.
What does the D-book have? So where does the D-book come in?
The D-book is the guy on the left. So this is Wexner.
Yeah.
He says he was possessed by a D-book. And that drove him to success.
Okay. Which is the bad kind of spirit. The demons, basically.
The demon, yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's quite crazy if you think about it, the connection. And then basically the Hollister. So under his watch, you had on one side you had Jeffrey running his ring, and on the other side you had this guy running his own ring.
Yeah. But
wild times, man.
They had they weren't completely standalone necessarily.
I don't know if you'll ever know. Because I mean, they didn't really research that whole operation really that deep, right?
Because what I'm wondering, KR, is whether or not they are slowly but surely trying to catch people they found through the Epstein files.
Could be. This was one of the stories that there was. I don't know if you remember, there was this Netflix documentary that talked about the whole Abercrombie and Fitch time in the 90s, and there were allegations in that documentary about these weird situations as well. That's when it was erased the first time. So it could be, you could be right that this is maybe they are going slowly but surely through those documents. Because let's be honest, billionaires, people that have money, are in contact with each other. So it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Jeffrey knew about the operations of the Daily Freak-Off. Maybe he taught Diddy how to record. How he was doing it. I'm just speculating. I'm not sure. I mean, you can go all different ways with all these theories, right? If you
Yeah.
really, if people start, if and this is the thing with these these situations, that you'll never see the full investigation. What is really behind it? What are the links? Because I'm pretty sure this is not the this won't be the last ring in that circle. It's obviously that there were multiple circles around Jeffrey.
Yeah. They really try to.
Yeah, that story is they nipped it in the butt.
And I think I saw, where did I see it? Isn't it one of the Alphabet Boys, if not more than one, that have a Hollywood budget? They have like a budget for their
Could be.
movies. So it could
Could be.
also be that as part of the, as part of the plan, they immediately prepare like documentaries and movies just to give us enough.
To get the right narrative, the correct
To
narrative.
give us enough so that we can say, hey, we did it. Like for example, like a woman who's not interested in you but will give you a pity kiss, and then you'll feel like you achieved something, and then you can always say, yeah, I kissed her.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing you would, and it seems like that, or at least not. It seems like that. It wouldn't surprise me. Sometimes I'm baffled how quickly these documentaries come out. So it lives up to the shock. It lives up to the
Expectations.
expectations, so that we feel satisfied that we
The
now know
thirst is
everything.
quenched.
Yes,
The
and then
thirst
they
is
proceed.
quenched.
Yeah, instead of leaving it hanging. This is, of course,
The longer you
purely
leave
this
it
is the
hanging, yeah, but I understand what you're saying, because the longer you leave it hanging, you get guys like Ian who will start who will start researching, and then these stories start coming out. Because to be honest, when it happened, I didn't make the connection. When I watched the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix about what he did, they mentioned Wexler and all the companies he owned. But I didn't really connect this Abercrombie and Fitch with that one. But now he does it, and it all makes sense suddenly.
So they mentioned his name in the documentary.
In the documentary of Jeffrey Epstein, Wexner was mentioned. Yes,
Okay, as a visitor or something.
they said that he managed the money of Wexner and also the companies, basically. So he was basically the one who was doing everything.
Weird, huh?
And it's a very weird. I mean, attorney, power of attorney on a billionaire.
Unlimited power of attorney.
That whole thing is crazy.
That's when, yeah. Anyways, that's not.
You can go down the rabbit hole. It gets deep. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about this theory, and also the whole situation with. I mean, they gave him. So this is the thing right now in the hip hop community, where they said they give this guy bail. He's out on bail. He can walk around, but Diddy didn't get bail. So let us know in the comments what you think about that situation as well. I'm of the opinion that Diddy clearly effed up when he started to put pressure on people that were suing him or that are directly linked to the cases themselves. So that's why he's still locked up. We're gonna talk about it next week. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think about the situation. Best comment will be chosen to be featured in next week's show. RJ.
Yes, we will be highlighting some of the best comments in our next video. So if you've got a hot take, let us know. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates on different stories where we discuss trending topics and try to explore uncommon lessons from uncommonplace situations. Thanks for watching, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments. KR, do we
Yes,
have
yes.
time
Today
for a
we
short
have
thought?
we have one short thought again. just like Monday this week, we have only one every show, man. It's gonna. I mean, since we're covering all these topics, it gets a bit crowded. So we only can dabble and discuss only one. So today we have one short thought. Is Big Mama wrong for this? I need to find Big Mama real quick. Some way, somehow, I cannot find her. Oh yeah, here she is. Already pre-selected it. Fair use.
Am I supposed to hear something? Let me see. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good.
I'm not sitting in the back seat. You need to get out. You gonna sit in the back seat today? You need to get out. I'm not sitting in the back seat.
My mom's coming, so I ain't gonna lie. You gonna have to get in the back.
What you mean you're not coming?
It's not that deep. Just sit in the back seat.
Okay, no, y'all not married anyway, honey. I mean, we just going somewhere. You act like you gotta sit in the back seat forever. Okay, bye. That's real crazy. Like what?
That's basically it.
What's the video doing there? What's the camera doing there?
I know it's a skit, but it's a situation that can happen, RJ. The question is, was Big Mama wrong for moving the guy's girlfriend and tell her to move to the back?
It depends. It depends. I don't know what age they are. So the mom, and so the son and the girlfriend, they can be 18, 19. I think that's different. It's not like there's not a hard rule line. Let's say like it's not black and white, but I think it depends on the age. I also think it depends whether or not they're in a serious relationship, yes or no.
They are in a relationship.
Yeah, but is it a college relationship or is it like, you know what I'm saying? There are levels. There are levels. I think that the mom is. Let me put it like this. I know it's a skit. It's probably a skit, most likely, but it's not uncommon for mothers, 'cause I'm guessing she's a single mother as well, to feel like the child is theirs and that they become territorial when there's a girlfriend or
Son
when there's a girl.
husbands.
Son
Son
husband.
husbands.
So I think that it could be true. It could be true for sure. Yeah. But
Okay.
is she wrong or is she not wrong? I would say it depends. But if they're in a serious relationship, she's wrong. And then do this. But I would say mom is doing what she's supposed to do. It's the dude that has to say, "Mom, you know I love you." But this is you first and foremost, Mom, I think you should sit in front. I do agree. But please don't talk to my girlfriend like that. I love you both. But the way that the dude didn't do anything,
Definitely a son husband. You might be right on that. Hey,
majors in symbology, probably.
symbology. I do think so, and then we can close the show. I do think that in this case and in every other case, the mom, unless she has bad knees, should sit in the back, and the guy should have stood up for his
For
girlfriend.
sure.
Because at the end of the day, your mom is not your girlfriend. She's your mom, and she can be talking crazy to whoever you're dating. So, um, yeah, in this case, Big Mama can sit next to the kid in the back because the mama said it's not that long either. So if it's not that long, you can also sit in the back, right? It's this is like the reverse or weird psychology certain people have. So I do agree with you on the fact that the guy should have stood up and just not shrug it away like, hey, it's Big Mama. She wants to sit in front. You have to let her sit. Um, it's a level of respect. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about this situation. Is Big Mama wrong? Is the guy how do you call him? A simp or super simp? What did you call him?
Well, he's a sympologist.
Sympologist, yes. Is he a sympologist or is he just right to leave Mama and his girlfriend to fight it out? Maybe the mom doesn't like the girl either. It seems like she doesn't like it because she said you're not married either way. So that's already like a jab towards his girlfriend at the time. Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. And RJ,
Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. As we've said throughout the show, the best comments will be highlighted in a future show. So if you have a hot take, I hope you dropped it, and you can still go and drop it if you haven't done so. We really appreciate all of your support. Thank you for helping us grow the channel. The channel is growing. There's a lot of things coming. So stay tuned. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and the notification icon so you stay up to date when we drop new videos. Rate the show by pressing the like button. And don't forget to comment, and share the video with people who will have added values. Hey, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see each other in the next one. Till next time.
peace.
Peace.